If you're searching for the inside scoop on NBA transactions, Shams Charania over at ESPN is definitely the guy to follow. Today, on this edition of Celtics Today by Chat Sports, we have a major report straight from Sham himself about the Boston Celtics offseason plans and the potential moves they might be making. I'm your host, Tyler Smith, and we're diving right into this, starting with a notable quote from Shams Charania on the Pat McAfee show. He stated, the Boston Celtics, they're going to make trades. The Boston Celtics will have a much different roster next season, potentially. They'll definitely have a different roster. The question is just how severe the movement is going to be for them. This is wild, especially considering that this core group only won a championship less than a year ago. Yet here we are, already talking about the possibility of this Celtics core breaking up. This isn't necessarily brand new news to Celtics fans familiar with Sham's reporting. We've known for a couple of weeks that some shakeups were coming, and Sham even mentioned on the McAfee show previously that teams around the league are preparing for the Celtics to possibly blow things up a bit. The main motivation for this is financial. The Celtics are looking to clear some money off their books for the 2025-2026 season and beyond. When you examine Boston's current salary cap situation, it's clear that the luxury tax they are projected to pay is actually higher than the total amount they are spending on player salaries. The luxury tax bill is expected to hit a staggering $500 million, which is an absolutely massive figure. With the Celtics currently in the middle of an ownership transition, it seems unlikely that anyone at the top is willing to foot such a hefty bill for a roster whose ceiling is capped by the unfortunate injury to their superstar, Jayson Tatum. Tatum's torn Achilles is likely to keep him sidelined for most, if not the entire next season. When you consider the Celtics' large contracts, you quickly realize that their options for trimming payroll are very limited, being over the second apron. By about $25 million means they can't just aggregate multiple salaries into a single trade. This forces them to move one player at a time in an effort to get back under that second apron threshold, which would then allow them more flexibility to maneuver in future deals. Looking at the big contracts, Jayson Tatum is locked in with a $54 million salary, and there's no way he's going anywhere. He's the face of the franchise and represents their future. Jaylen Brown, who also has a supermax contract worth $53 million, is another player unlikely to be traded easily. Jrue Holiday is making $32 million, but at 34 years old, his trade value is somewhat complicated by his age and contract length. Chris Porzingis, with an expiring $31 million deal, could be a prime candidate for a move. Derek White, who earns just under $30 million, offers great value, but his role and importance make him a tough trade prospect as well. The Celtics absolutely have to make some moves this summer to relieve their cap pressure, but the big question remains, just how drastic will those moves be? Brad Stevens, known for his sharp basketball mind, is the guy who will be orchestrating these changes, and if history is any indication, he won't make rash decisions that could damage the franchise. To this point, Stevens has a solid track record of making fundamentally sound moves. So while big changes are coming, they're likely to be calculated rather than reckless. If you believe in Brad Stevens and the front office's ability to get this done, be sure to show your support by hitting that thumbs up button below. It's going to be a challenging offseason with a lot of negotiations required to execute the right deals. There's no doubt this is going to be one of the most complex offseasons in recent memory, especially with the constraints of the salary cap and luxury tax looming over every team's decision-making process. Shams Charania's full quote on the McAfee show sheds even more light on the Celtics situation. He said, you look at Jayson Tatum. Of course he's injured, and you can't really trade him. He's the face of the franchise. After that, it's really going to depend on what value you can get. He expects a lot of teams will show interest in Jrue Holiday and Chris Porzingis, and even Jaylen Brown might attract inquiries. The Celtics will have to carefully evaluate what they can get for each player and decide which trade makes the most sense for their long-term plans. The goal will be to acquire assets that can help immediately or provide future value, not just to clear salary. There's also some uncertainty around the futures of other key players, like Al Horford, Jrue Holiday, and Chris Porzingis. These players, while part of the core, could be pieces the Celtics look to move in their retooling efforts. As Sham mentioned, the Celtics will explore trades and make moves, and this offseason could be the craziest ever in terms of transactions across the NBA. That's not just Celtics talk. The entire league is gearing up for a flurry of activity because many teams feel they are just 1 or 2 moves away from becoming true championship contenders. The parity in the league is thinner than ever, and every team is trying to make the right move to capitalize on their window. Despite all the rumors, Sham has expressed faith in Jaylen Brown, suggesting the Celtics probably want to keep him. I share that view. Even though other teams may inquire about Brown, the Celtics seem hesitant to trade him given the uncertainty surrounding Jason Tatum's recovery. Will Tatum come back better than ever, or will he only be a very good player rather than the great superstar we've seen? Those questions weigh heavily on the Celtics' strategy moving forward. Keith Smith from Spotrac, who's one of the most respected cap experts and Celtics analysts on social media, also weighed in, saying that while it makes some sense to think about trading Jaylen Brown, the Celtics are not in a position to rebuild around Tatum with rookies or minimum contracts. This idea of blowing up the team and tanking doesn't make much sense given the current Eastern Conference landscape and the solid core the Celtics already have. Players like Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard form a solid foundation that could still compete next season. However, don't completely rule out the possibility of a trade involving Jaylen Brown if a Godfather offer comes along. If Brad Stevens sees a deal that could clear salary and improve the team's future prospects, he won't hesitate to pull the trigger. But at this point, it seems unlikely Brown will be moved unless something truly game-changing comes through. One notable omission from Sham's comments is Derek White's name. Despite rumors that teams like the Golden State Warriors might be interested in him, Sham wisely didn't mention White as a trade candidate. It's clear he's viewed as one of the best value players on the Celtics and possibly in the entire NBA. Alongside Peyton Pritchard, White offers tremendous production on a bargain contract. White, who averages around 17 points per game, shoots about 40% from 3, and is an elite defender, is a core piece the Celtics want to keep. At 30 years old and improving every year, White is seen as a long-term asset for the team, and many believe he will retire as a Celtic. So, if not White or Brown, who is the most likely Celtic to be traded this offseason? Sham mentioned 2 names in particular that we'll discuss shortly, but feel free to comment below with your thoughts on who you think is the most probable trade candidate this summer. I believe the Celtics roster will only look significantly different if they move either Jaylen Brown or Derek White. But as I mentioned, I don't see that happening. Besides Brown and White, the Celtics' main trade candidates are players acquired before their championship run in 2023-2024. These are complementary pieces that were added to an already competitive team. Drew Holiday and Chris Porzingis are prime examples. The value of Drew Holiday in trade discussions is uncertain. Holiday is 34 years old, with a sizable contract still remaining, and his value to contending teams is a question mark. Still, teams looking to bolster their defense and veteran leadership could express serious interest. Dallas Mavericks, LA Clippers, Houston Rockets, and San Antonio Spurs have all been mentioned as potential trade partners for Holiday. Dallas is reportedly exploring pathways to make a deal happen, while the Clippers have shown renewed interest. The Rockets and Spurs could use veteran defenders to bolster their backcourts, making Holiday a potential fit. In terms of assets, Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington from Dallas are players the Celtics might target. For the Clippers, Bogdan Bogdanovic and Derek Jones Jr. are appealing for their combination of scoring and defensive ability. Houston's options include Dylan Brooks and Tari Eason, while San Antonio's best return might be Harrison Barnes or Kel Johnson, though that's likely the least appealing package. Brad Stevens is not expected to accept low ball offers for Holiday, knowing his value around the league. The Celtics will look to receive solid assets back to continue contending and not just dump salary for the sake of it. Trading Holiday is a delicate balance between clearing cap space and maintaining competitiveness. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are swirling through the NBA world about a potential blockbuster move involving none other than Anthony Edwards and the Boston Celtics. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the rumor mill is heating up with speculation that this young, explosive guard could be on his way to Boston, a city hungry for more championship glory. Edwards, known for his electrifying scoring ability and highlight reel dunks, has quickly become one of the league's most exciting talents since being drafted first overall in 2020. His blend of size, athleticism, and fearless aggression on the court has made him a centerpiece for the Minnesota Timberwolves, where he's blossomed into a bona fide star. However, whispers now suggest that the Celtics might be positioning themselves to bring Edwards into their fold, hoping to inject fresh energy and star power into their lineup. Boston's quest for a new identity post-Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's recent shifts has opened the door for rumors like this. Adding a dynamic scorer like Edwards would certainly change the narrative around the team and potentially elevate them into serious championship contention. The Celtics have long been a franchise willing to make bold moves, and this rumored acquisition fits perfectly into their aggressive approach to team building. Sources close to the situation have hinted that talks might be in early stages, with the Celtics eyeing a trade package that could involve future draft picks and young talent to land Edwards. While the Timberwolves may hesitate to part ways with their rising star, the allure of building a deeper, more balanced roster could make the deal intriguing on both sides. Fans in Boston are buzzing with excitement at the mere possibility of Edwards donning the green and white. His high-flying style and scoring versatility would not only electrify the TD Garden crowd, but also create new offensive dimensions for the Celtics. Imagine Edwards running alongside Tatum or Brown, or even potentially leading the charge as the new franchise cornerstone. The potential is tantalizing. Of course, as with all rumors in the NBA, the situation could shift rapidly. Negotiations might stall, or the Timberwolves could decide to keep their prized player to build around him. Yet, the mere presence of these talks indicates that Boston is actively looking to shake up its roster, and Edwards appears to be a prime target. In an era where star power often dictates championship success, the Celtics could be on the brink of making a move that reverberates throughout the league. For now, fans and analysts alike will be watching closely, waiting to see if Anthony Edwards really is the newest Celtic, or if this buzz will fade away like so many rumors before it. Either way, the speculation has already added a new layer of excitement to the NBA offseason narrative. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.